Hi, my name is Olena Kasperovych and I'm a curator of the exhibition Deep Deep Forest for the PIXXELPOINT 2021. Here in this guided tour I want to talk about the exhibition concept and about every artist's work. In this project I chose the forest as a metaphor for the kind of walk and exploration of nature and of yourself, of the human nature, I would say. So, according to Carl Jung, the archetype of forest, it's a prototype of unconscious, and it's the same deep, unknown, mysterious as our inner nature, as our subconscious nature. And so when we say that we go through the forest that is full of fears and dangers, we are also talking about the fears that we have inside us. I propose to artists to look at the forest or at this big unconscious, primary matter of chaos as of something that could inspire. And in this project you could see different examples how the artists actually understand the nature, how they find themselves in this relationship, and the ways how they can explore them. So the exhibition starts with the work by Daryna, Ukrainian young artist, who demonstrate here her project Spheres. This is VR experience where Daryna talks about the diversity and complexity of the world, and that sometimes it could lead you to some anxiety and some uncomfortable state. But in the same time, the choices that you make by your own give you the temporal sense of stability in the unstable world. So Daryna invites us to go through the spheres from one environment to another. And those environments you can experience and choose by yourself. The thing is that this path is never the same for every viewer, and also that you can never go back to change your decision that you already made. So I like that this work opens the exhibition and it actually talks about the hero's way, the way of dangers and testing. Ilya Dolgov presents here his project called Forest Journal. This is the series of issues of journals that borrows its name from the old Soviet book about the nature for children. And this artist write himself and invite his colleagues to write about their understanding of nature and their relationship with the nature. They never answer this direct question about what is the nature, but they rather describe their different approaches to observe the nature. Interesting about this journal is that they use really different language to this, and this language could be going from the quasi-scientific language to some romantic, naturalist, poetic language. The next work is a work by South Korean artist Gijeong, and he presents here his installation that is made of the video and photographs that he did with micro lenses, photographing the soil, and the soil that is consists of remains of animals and plants. Then he modified in a 3D space and create this fantastic tense environment that we can see in the end, and we can experience kind of life from the very unusual point of view and see the Earth's like underground world. Lavoslava Benčić, in her work, uses the findings of biomechanic, artificial intelligence. She talks about the evolution and how we can predict, or we cannot predict, the going forward of evolution. She uses the existent plants and going through the machine learning, she can produce the non-existent plants, and this gives us the idea of many ways of evolution that did not happen but could happen. She works with the sound, and she's talking about this approach to relationship between the human and the nature, especially the plants. Robertina Šebjanić presents her work about the rivers that she calls as dynamic bodies of waters. So she explores the basin of Ljubljanica with all the smaller rivers and streams from the particular point of view, means from underwater. And she chose this position because that's how the creatures that live in the water actually see those changes of deepness or speed of the water. And this her exploration also consists not only of visual component but also of sound, and this sound also reflects the way of moving of the waters, so that's why it's also a very important component. In the end, she produced 3 videos that we can see here from this underwater point. Fantastic Little Splash, it's a duo of Ukrainian artists. They work mostly with film, and here they present their film essay, Similar Image. And in this work they are talking about the way how we feel the nature, and how we feel what is nature and what is not nature. So they use this example with the sounds also, like they say, if for example we will close our eyes and we will be near the sea or in the forest, and we will hear all the sounds of nature like birds or leaves of the trees, and then we will also hear some plane or some cars going around, and we will all feel that it's the parts of one whole, and we will also feel ourselves as a part of it. But when we open our eyes, we start immediately to categorize the world around, and we immediately say that this is the nature and this is the artificial objects. And in the end, when we have this categorization for everything, we are actually finding ourselves that we are lost in all this world, where in the end it's not really possible to say what is nature and what is not nature in the end. So they are using this video in a kind of not documentary but more poetic way to explore this feeling. Plant Portation, it's a project by BridA collective, and it's about the movement of plants. We started to talk with BridA and work on this project 2 years ago, when we talked about the migration of plants and their traces and their influence on the contemporary landscapes. Then with this project Plant Portation, BridA raised the question about how the plants could or could not have the mobility, and how we can include the plants in our really changing fast digital world, and if it could be possible. This installation is interactive, so every viewer can come and see kind of mirror, but they will see everything except themselves in this mirror, and when they move they will see the changes, and they will see that they have this alter identity of the plant in this reflection. So this is the way also to assume your plant identification in one hand, but also it's interesting because it shows literally your human traces on the nature. And the last work in this tour is research project Sub Persona, that talks about the importance and ethics of human management of forest. It consists of the forest views and also the 3 interviews of people who work there and who present their point of view on the forestry. So that was a short introduction to the exhibition, and you can find more information on the website of PIXXELPOINT Festival.